Okay, Jackie, we have everybody in the waiting room has been admitted, so I think we're ready to roll when you are, but you're on mute.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to get started now. Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Jackie Fishman, and I'll be facilitating the meeting on the Cosecha project, which is proposed as a 92-unit project that will serve senior households and households with children. Our team of Soul Housing, Hartman Majewski Design Group, and Consensus Planning will be presenting the project and responding to questions. This is our second public meeting. Our first public meeting was held on October 6th. Questions, if you have some, should be posted in the chat, and then Kelly will call on the appropriate team member to answer those questions. Any questions that remain after the meeting, or those that, for whatever reason, can't be answered tonight, we'll post them along with the response on the community engagement website, which will show at the end of our presentation. The meeting will run until 6:30 this evening. Each of our speakers will introduce themselves. In addition to our team, I believe representatives from the city's Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency are also present tonight. So I'm going to first start with reviewing the site location and the planning context, and then I'm going to turn it over to Felipe to provide an overview of Soul Housing and the other projects they've completed in Albuquerque. Next, we'll focus, not quite yet, go back. Next, we'll focus on the Cosecha project, including naming of the project and other project details. Caton from Design Group will present the conceptual design and renderings, and then Miriam from Soul Housing will present the plan palette and ask for feedback from the participants and end with an update to the timeline. Once Miriam concludes, we'll open it back up for feedback and questions. Again, please put your questions into the chat. Okay, now next slide, please. Okay, so as you probably know, the project site is located at 1100 San Mateo Southeast. It's at the southeast corner of Catherine and San Mateo. The property is zoned MXM, which is mixed use moderate intensity. It's located in an area of change. This is a lot of planning speak, I know, per the comprehensive plan. It is also located within a major transit corridor, which impacts some of the dimensional standard requirements, such as maximum building height. This slide shows an aerial of the project site. To the south of the project site is the existing pond. And then south of that is the site for the future marketplace. And then at 1210 San Mateo is the ACS building. Soul Housing has recently started working with the Department of Municipal Development to remove the pond out of the floodplain, which is a critical step in the development. That process will be reviewed and approved by FEMA, and then it will allow it to be developed once it's not within the floodplain. Now we're going to go to the next slide, and I'm going to turn it over to Felipe.
Good evening. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Felipe Rael. I'm the Executive Director of Soul Housing. We're an Albuquerque-based nonprofit who've been working in Albuquerque for over 33 years. Our mission and vision are stated below. And all those folks that you're seeing in that picture to the right, that's from our Somos groundbreaking at Louisiana and Central. Actually just on Alcazar, straight up the road from here, which has just received its most recent certificate of occupancy. All those people in that picture are Albuquerque residents. Those are from our board and our staff. Next slide, please. So what Soul Housing does is we build high quality housing that's affordable to the folks that choose to call it home. Throughout those 33 years of our existence, we've built a number of developments within the International District. Some of you may have actually be residents at some of these developments. We've developed along Bell, Alcazar, Trumbull Village, and so we've done quite a bit of for sale single family homes. In addition, we've developed quite a number of affordable multifamily developments, including the Plaza Feliz development, Casa Feliz, and the recently completed Somos. And so that's just a little bit of ours and how long we've been committed to developing high quality housing in the International District. Next slide. So a little bit about the name. Why did we choose Cosecha? It's consistent with our vision of what this site can become. We wanted to really help augment or kind of be a good partner to the International District kind of marketplace. And so we thought, why not name it Harvest, emphasizing abundance and prosperity. And we're looking for a place where not only the plants, but the people who choose to live here can flourish. Next slide. So a little bit about the development. As Jackie mentioned, there's going to be 92 apartment homes with kind of two target populations. We're going to have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, which will help support families or households with children. In addition, there'll be a number of 1s and 2 bedrooms on kind of another wing of the development that'll be targeted more for seniors. But the idea is this is kind of a multi-generational development. It'll also have a mixed use component in which what you're seeing here is what we're envisioning to kind of bring some kind of for rent space in to kind of activate along San Mateo. It'll also be a mixed income development in which there will be some affordability components. 85% of the units will be set aside for households with lower incomes, but at least 14 of the units will be market rate or unrestricted. And so that means that you don't have to qualify for any of the programs, whether that's low-income housing tax credits or other kind of federal or state financing that may come into this project, but just kind of be unrestricted, really supporting kind of a mixed income development. And we're looking to stabilize with that International Growers Market to the south. So this site is part of the Near Heights Metropolitan Redevelopment Area, and it basically meets a number of those goals as stated in the plan. Revitalizes a blighted commercial corridor. As you know, this was a building that has sat vacant. The former swap meet that the site has stayed vacant for many years. Hence, it's small business development job creation. There'll be a number of permanent jobs and also that 2,500 foot or so for lease commercial space will help to retain and create some jobs. It'll stabilize kind of low income neighborhoods with another quality development by Soul Housing, by increasing affordable housing, and then also the mixed use component that we've spoken of before. And not to kind of toot our own horn or our team, but it's backed by successful local development experience to ensure quality execution. Our intent is uh, the folks that are swinging the hammers, laying the pipe, and laying all the concrete will be local contractors and subcontractors to our market. We've started with that by engaging local firms like Consensus Planning to help us work through the entitlement process and planning and zoning review, and also Hartman and Majewski Design Group, who were the successful uh, architect of record and project architects on both Somos and Casa Feliz, which has won a number of awards for its great design. And we anticipate Somos will be able to compete and showcase just the quality work of that firm. Next slide. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Kaiten from Hartman and Majewski Design Group.
Thank you, Felipe. Hello, my name is Ketan Baratia. I am a principal architect with Hartman Majewski Design Group. Looking at the images on this project, you can see there are some familiar buildings in the neighborhood that we are talking about this project. Um, our vision, our firm is creating relationship and communities that endure. We feel that we are invested in the international district community with all the work that we had the opportunity to do for your neighborhood. And we feel very honored and invested in doing all these projects. So on the top right, you can see the ACS building. We were the architect of record for this building, and we have worked closely with the city of Albuquerque. We also had some neighborhood meetings to make sure that we create a space that is works not only for the building function but for the neighborhood. In the middle top, you see the Somos. Again, we are working with Soul Housing on this project. The construction is complete. Starting tomorrow, the tenants are going to start moving it. It's an affordable senior housing project. On the top left, you see the Casa Feliz project, approximately 90 units that's in the neighborhood, very close to the project that we are working here with you. We'll be working with you all. That project actually has some edible fruit trees in there. And in the lower bar, you can see there's a Pa Highland projects, which is in the Highland District area. It's the fourth and one of the first project created for the deaf and hearing impaired communities. We have the People's Market that Jackie had just mentioned that we have just completed and had a ribbon cutting for this neighborhood. And of course, the Phil Chacon substation. So you can tell that we are very familiar with this neighborhood and we are excited to do another project with you all, which is going to be a cosecha. With that, we go to next slide. This we want to show this. We have been working for many years, when this was a vacant lot, the entire parcel, starting from where the ACS building is to Catherine. And we have been very working closely with we had different options, creating the master plans. So with really the catalyst was ACS. So once we had the ACS project started, I think it really helped to kind of get going with this master plan. So we on the left you can see there's an ACS building, and now in the middle you see there's a harvest, and then we just came up with the name of the project, which is People's Market. We are super excited once that project going on, once the vendors come in and becomes an active space. And of course, right in the middle is the flood management pond. And on the right, this is the project we are talking with you today and presenting the conceptual plans. Really, the idea of this cosecha is enhanced, and like Felipe mentioned, with edible trees and everything that we're going to introduce in this project, and how we can really tie it as an overall master plan for this project. Next slide, please. So this is a kind of a more enlarged version. So what you're seeing on the screen, there's a dark line drawn in the middle. So that's the site on the right side of the dark line is the entire site is approximately 2 acre. On the left side of the dotted line that you're seeing on the side is the pond. and the People's Market. We really wanted to make sure that we place this building where it becomes an urban edge, more eyes on the street, and the principles of crime prevention through environmental design. Really engaging the corner of San Mateo and Catherine with the U-shaped building, the courtyard is facing to the mountains. With the amenity space that you see on the outdoor amenity space, the courtyards create a very safe environment, and you will see that in the next few slides in the renderings. All the streetscape will be improved. There will be enhanced, the streetscape will be enhanced with trees, sidewalks. Those are required by the city of Albuquerque. We have three access points to the site. The bottom from the Ortiz is only for the residents that are going to be living in this project, in this development. The building is four-story, so the residents will have access from the Ortiz because we feel the Ortiz is the more residential side of this development. And San Mateo, we have one access from San Mateo that will have access to the commercial space that is leasable for any tenant who will be interested in leasing this space in this area. And it has a nice outdoor plaza and access to the leasing office. Let's go to the next slide, please. This is the slide that shows the conceptual rendering and elevation when you're standing on San Mateo and looking towards mountains toward east. It's a four-story building, but we wanted to really make this project contextual and really feel like it's been broken into the massing. So this horizontal band of the color represents this kind of like layering that you see. So the bottom red color comes from, we noticed that there's this bottom red brick color is very prominent in that area. And of course, the ACS. So we wanted to make sure there's a continuity of this master plan, and we brought these colors in these buildings. And on the right side, you're seeing that commercial space that where is facing the San Mateo in this area. Let's go to the next slide, please. Um, can we, is it the slide changing or on my side, I'm not seeing, okay, there we go. Um, so this is the artistic rendering of the courtyard that I just described in the beginning, right in the middle of the building. The building is U-shaped, and if you're standing in this courtyard, you will be looking at the mountains. So in this rendering, you're looking west, and here it's really creating a very intimate, safer space because this is really creating an intergenerational community where the children, the adults all feel safer, and it's going to create a nice shaded environment in this area. And you can see in the renderings, we're trying to bring this some of the vibrancy and the colors and the tone that and we will talk more about that in the next slides. There are play areas for the kids of three different age group also in this courtyard. This is again a conceptual artistic rendering of at the corner of San Mateo and Catherine. So on your right is San Mateo, on your left the road goes to the Catherine, and really we're engaging in this corner of this thing and making it a strong urban edge to this development over here. At the bottom level of this building, um, are actually occupied by the common amenities for the residents, like community spaces and all those things. So we feel like there's a street presence and that also helps with activating the streets. So most of the lower level that you're seeing at the first floor, where you see the red color and a blue color, that has a storefront, and it usually keeps the activeness on the streets on this area. Next slide, please. So we are looking at, and we wanted to make sure that we are making some kind of work. This is the work in progress that we are the on the top elevation, this is how we submit it to the city. And those color palettes are actually, we have to meet, the city has their own color palette that we can only choose colors from those. So what we did is we further enhanced these renderings to make sure those colors are very close to or matching to the color palettes. So this is the kind of a much more refined elevation and going back to the contextual colors that we're trying to bring from the neighborhood. With this, I'm going to introduce to Miriam, uh, who is the Director of Housing Development with Seoul Housing.
Hey everyone, I'm Miriam Hicks. I want to make sure that the camera gets on me. It's still on Keaton. Go. Hey everyone. So I'm Miriam Hicks. I'm the Director of Housing Development for Seoul Housing. And when we were responding to the MRA's RFP for this community design, part of what was emphasized, along with providing affordable housing to the community and providing economic opportunities through the commercial space, was providing the ability to have access to fresh produce enhanced on this site. And one way that we can do that is through that master plan that we proposed, that we would encourage edible landscapes on our site, as long as, and as well as encourage the flood plain or the flood pond to be redeveloped into a future green space that could also include a food forest, like what has gone in at the renovations over at Phil Chacon Park. I understand that the fig trees and pomegranate trees over at that park are doing really well. And if you haven't gotten a chance to get over there, please do. That we're very early on. Oh, there I am. We're very early on in the conceptual design, and we have an overall feel for what the community will be in this overall layout, as you've seen in the renderings and drawings that have been provided tonight. However, all the little details really haven't been worked out, and we wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to provide some feedback on the areas of the site that will be engaging. So thank you for your comments so far. Thank you for your questions and concerns. We'll definitely document those concerns. And this is an opportunity to have some fun and look at what our landscape architects have put forth to us as potential edible landscape options. So we have 3 slides to go through, and there is a vote that you can log into and put your preferences in. Do you like, fruits that are more common? Do you like having access to fruits that are less common? We have a representation here of quince and figs, plums to jujubes and pomegranates, persimmons, apricots, mulberries, apples, and cherry trees that are all welcome for you to put in a selection of 3 different types of trees that you'd like to see us put in around this property, including in public areas that you would be able to access and overall help create cohesion between the ACS building, the outdoor market space, hopefully a future green space, and then also the areas around Cosecha, including the outdoor spaces that are supported with the commercial for lease space, the 2,500 square feet. And I have to say, we have those spaces at our Somos property that's just about to open. And we're supportive of local businesses coming out of the neighborhood, generally ones that are transitioning out of food trucks or have been working out of a community kitchen and don't have a brick and mortar location yet. We charge very low rents, and we have a low bar to help these new businesses thrive without putting major assets up at risk. So we really feel like this is part of building economic opportunity from the community for the community, and that's why we do that. So please, I hope that you will put in some votes into the website that we've created with the edible plants and let us know your preferences of what you would like to see in your neighborhood. And with that, let's go to the next slide, which is these are the fruiting shrubs and vines that will do well here in the neighborhood. So we have the option of elderberry, which is a quite large bush. We have currants, choke cherries, goji berries, thornless blackberries. And if you don't have any of these plants in your yard, absolutely, this is a great list to take a screenshot of and say, okay, these are good options for Albuquerque. Grapes, gooseberry, bush cherry, and of course prickly pear, which we see the tunas of all around town, and they're so great. Those are also becoming ripe here right about now. And we have one more, which are our smaller herb plants. So these are herb and medicinal perennial shrubs, which means that they most likely will survive through the winter. I know all of these survive in my yard over the winter. So we have a lot of different scales of plants that we can incorporate into the landscape. And we've done this on many of our properties, including there in the International District at Casa Feliz and Plaza Feliz, where we have cherry trees. We used to have plum trees, but I didn't see them last time I was walking. But the cherry trees are amazing. Neighbors can take those. We have recently invested in fruit tree pickers, which are a great way to keep from hurting the limbs of the tree and also being able to then access some of this fresh fruit. So thank you very much for putting in some votes on our landscaping plans. Let's move forward. So I'm also giving an update on where we are in this timeline. We started this project back in 2024 with the MRA gathering information from the community, putting out their RFI, and then after that, their RFP. We have responded to both of those requests, and the RFP response that we submitted was the one that was selected. And so with that, we've moved forward, seeking funding through the various sources. We've received some of that funding. We've held public meeting, we've started work to get the site ready for construction by engaging a floodplain engineer to remove the site from the FEMA floodplain map. So that work is underway, and you may see some of the grading work that will be done on the site in order to lift it from the floodplain. That will have a temporary impact until other improvements are made by the city and up further near Eastern and Alvarado. But in the meantime, for us to be able to develop this site, we have to get it out of that floodplain. And it's part of a bigger effort by the city to deal with the historic drainage issues that have affected the community. So then to the next slide, moving forward after this public meeting, this is the timeline. We'll be putting in another application for funding with the home application. We hope to achieve, and then we'll have the LIHTC application there. That's January of 2027. And we hope that the site will be removed from the floodplain no later than May of 2027. At that point, we'll have achieved all of the pre-development and site readiness that we would need to move forward on the project and be able to cut loose the architects and engineers to finish designing and producing the construction documents that will go in for permitting. That's when the zoning approval would take place, is during that May to November timeframe of 2027. We would submit an additional application for funding and then start construction in the spring of 2028. So you can see these projects are quite a long timeline to get from where we started to where we are now to where we'll be when we start construction. We expect around a 16-month construction process, and then move-ins would start at the end of construction in the summer of 2029. So I hope that gives you a sense of the overall totality of this calendar and that we are, part of the way through that calendar at this point. And with that, please put in your questions in the chat. And am I giving it back to someone? We have a community engagement website. You can see there, you can scan the QR code, or you can put in the web address of www.cosecha.info and continue to put comments on that engagement website. That is a tracking location that you can go to get updates on the project overall, or if someone missed this public meeting and would like to know more about the project. It's an active engagement. We do look at all the questions and respond to them on that website. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll address questions.
So team, all of our questions have been answered in the chat. So if there are additional questions, please make sure to put them in the chat now and our team can answer them. Kinsey, if you'll stop sharing screen for a moment, and then we will also, if you want to raise your hand and ask a question, I will. So using the raise your hand, which should be at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you can use that and we will call you in order. So this is probably a great question either for Felipe or Miriam, but do neighborhood edges come into play on the east side of the development?
Kelly, is that person asking about the neighborhood edge provision in the IDO?
Alan, do you want to? Oh, yes, he is.
Okay, so I'm looking at the zoning map, and there are no low density zoned sites in any direction from this project that are adjacent to this project. So the neighborhood edge provision does not apply here.
Great. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, I'm a Martinez, and I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't know where to push for the little hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the owner of the building on 1001 San Mateo Southeast. I was trying to push Spanish, but for some reason I went to English. So, um, and I would like to see if I need help with my building. I can't get tenants or anything. I have so many windows broken, and I've been trying my best to keep it up, but it's very hard for me right now. And that's my question.
Sure, I'll go ahead and take that, Alma. That's great feedback. We've done kind of mixed use in this neighborhood for a number of years. Our Plaza Feliz has a daycare center on site.
Yeah.
There was another question. I'll kind of loop this in. We're a private nonprofit here in Albuquerque, and so we have funds basically to help kind of keep up our current or existing or future developments. We can't support kind of helping other things else. something that we've done along the neighborhood edge is we put some kind of decorative uh, kind of coverings over those windows,
Mm.
specifically at our Casa Feliz development and now the recently completed Somos, to kind of protect those windows from being broken. We've suffered those same challenges on some of our developments. Um, and so I feel what you're saying. Uh, to kind of speak to the larger kind of mixed use aspect of our development, we hope the eyes on the street. If I'm doing the math in my head, I think you're practically just to the east of us. We're going to have 92 new households moving in, and that we find that that really helps with having kind of eyes designed to the windows opening out into different areas to help kind of alleviate some of that things. Some other things that we do is we kind of have courtesy patrols. These are uh, security companies that come on an infrequent basis and also come on an on-call basis, and it just kind of keep folks on their toes. They don't know if they're going to be there between 11 and 2 or some other time during the day or night. But yeah, it is a challenge, and uh, we're sensitive because we have been in the international district for so long, of the challenges in the community, and that's what we're hoping to kind of bring in a transformative with 92 new households that could potentially be customers at the small businesses that you help support as the landlord, but also those households can kind of help keep eyes on the streets and activate this corner that's been vacant for far too long.
Mhm.
Um, so our next question, Miriam or Jackie, there's several comments about the building height. Can you just explain a little bit more about the wide right of way and how that'll help minimize that blocking views?
Sure. I can start and Miriam, you can jump in as well. The further you are away from a building, the the less impact you have on from the building height. That's just sort of natural. You're very close to the building. It seems, towering further away, it's minimized. I've seen some of the comments. Um, we are looking at a building height somewhere around 50 to 55 feet. That is actually lower than the maximum building height allowed along San Mateo, which again, because it's a major transit corridor, the city and the comprehensive plan encourage higher density buildings, which means generally taller buildings. And so we're taking advantage of that, but we're not going to the maximum height, which would be 60 feet. So we are a little bit lower than that.
Thank you, Jackie. We also have another question, I think for Felipe. It's asking what collaboration with local police do we have to prevent harassments of residents in Cosecha? And I thought maybe you could speak to our partnership with our Monarch and our professional management.
Sure. Thanks, Kelly. So we, uh, as Keaton illustrated, we're designing this with crime prevention through environmental design. And so there's been a lot of care and thought to where the entrances are. The main resident entrance would be behind the gated secure fence with the access along Ortiz. So residents can enter and exit the building primarily through kind of that gated courtyard. In addition, for the commercial space that we're looking to really kind of be an active and kind of bring things to the community for economic development, small business incubation, things like that. Our intent is probably to be able to lock down that gate at night. So the idea is during the day, uh, visitors or customers of that space can come in and park and use it and enter the commercial space of the building that way. But the idea is kind of after business hours or uh, those are kind of locked down to kind of be able to protect. One thing that is nice is that just our proximity to the ACL's building, the Albuquerque Community Safety Building. So there should be uh, a kind of folks going and coming to that during those hours that that facility is open. Um, but we also do other key things to be able to kind of protect our residents. Our third property management companies, we said Monarch, they walk the grounds kind of between the maintenance staff and the on-site manager multiple times a day, just making sure that everything is kind of secured and making sure everything is operating as it's supposed to. So gates, etc. In addition, as we've mentioned, the courtesy patrol that will usually contract with a third party that does kind of semi-regular kind of drive-bys of the property, doing the same thing, looking to make sure gates are closed and things like that. And then also our residents can call them, even short of calling the police, if there is nothing that merits to that level of response needed. They can kind of respond to helping someone, what's it called? If someone's maybe moving in some furniture, things like that, they can call them and say, "Hey, I need some other eyes to help to kind of protect." So we've once again been in this neighborhood with multifamily for over 15 years with our Plaza Feliz development, and hopefully we continue to refine our design each time. But the idea is that resident safety is paramount for how we design the egress and egress of our buildings and uh, of how the folks kind of live in their home.
Um, can I ask a question? There wasn't, I don't know if you can hear me or I put in the right
I can,
sim.
Paula, go
Oh,
ahead,
thank
please.
you. Thank you. As far as the security, because that Alma that mentioned her building, I live in the house right behind it, so I understand her concerns. But how high is the fence going to be around the property?
Can someone from the design team help me with that?
Felipe, this is Miriam. So per the IDO requirements, the fence would technically along San Mateo be required to be 3 feet, but we'll seek a variance to get our fence up to 6 feet for security reasons. That is a typical height on all of our properties. This is our 10th community, multifamily community here in Albuquerque. We are the ones that are building some of the colorful buildings that you see along Central right now.
Yes.
Somos is our latest, which is just getting ready to open, which is right there east of Tallinn Market at Alcazar and Central. It's an orange and white building, really beautiful with some art that's been incorporated from the MRE improvements that were done in 2004. So, Paula, we're very well versed and we understand, like Felipe said, we're very knowledgeable and experienced with the same challenges that you all are facing. And as Felipe described, we're committed to making sure that our residents have the safety features that help them feel safe and comfortable in the neighborhood. We do our best, and that 6-foot fence will be a view fence that allows vision through the fence, and that helps keep people safe on both sides of it. You'll be able to see in and see the property. And one of the other things we did with the site plan design is to not allow traffic to drive through the property fully. We've separated the visitor and commercial traffic to be along San Mateo and the secure resident parking to be along Ortiz. And that divides that traffic, but also prevents, anyone from driving through the site very quickly or using it as a cut through for any reason. So thank you for your question,
Okay.
Paula.
Thank
Let's move
you.
on to another one. Thank you so much.
Right. I think we have answered all of the questions. Just confirming that. And I would remind folks too that cosecha.info, you can receive additional updates as the property is developed, and also the link for the voting on the edible landscape options is also in the chat, and I'm going to put it in there again now. So please copy that, and the photos of the plants will also be available at that cosecha.info as well. Okay.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing the responses for the edible landscape. We'll definitely be working those things into the design. Thanks so much.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Good night. Thank you.